Hello, Damian. Welcome to EFL. I've been dying to get in front of you and to chat to you about your up and coming fight. We have been trying to get this fight together for months now, it seems. And we're just here to chat to you a little bit, introduce you to the fans of Eclipse Fight League that's happening on the 7th of May in Centurion. You are the main card fight for the evening. Tell us a bit about yourself, Damian.
Well, I think as a general overview, 33 years old, turning 34 this year. I've been fighting and been doing martial arts or Muay Thai specifically for about the last 4 years. Did a bit of karate back in my youth for a good couple of years there. And yeah, I'm a single father. It's a 12-year-old daughter. I became a father really young. Life's ups and downs led me back to martial arts, and I ideally started here with her. I just wanted to help get her some self-defense to do something together. And then, yeah, she eventually decided, no, it's not for her. And then the bug had bit me, so I continued on. And it's just developed from there. So through development competitions, doing some comps along the way, just brought me to this moment. And yeah, it's just something I love to do. Martial arts in general, it's a form of self-expression, clarity of mind, physical activity, keeping the body sharp, keeping the mind clear. Just overall develop a good space to be in for your lifestyle.
Well, that's quite a nice recap of everything leading you up until this fight. So we've gotten to understand a little bit of you. A family man caring for your daughter. We know you train out of Warrior Sports in Centurion. You come from a very good camp, a good crew, which is Brett Clark, who trains you in Muay Thai. You said you did some karate back in the day. Tell us, how does it feel doing Muay Thai versus karate? What are the aspects that jump out at you?
Well, I think key definite is when it comes down to it, you get it's a bit more physical when you're coming to the Muay Thai component. I mean, in those years doing karate, I think it gives you the background and the base, a bit of fight IQ and your stability and your ability to anticipate motion and movement. But when it comes to Muay Thai, I think it's definitely a lot more, it's deeper in terms of the spiritual side, I think, as well, in terms of how much it takes of you or how much it takes of a warrior spirit for you to get in there and really bring it, because at the end of the day, you're definitely putting your body on the line, you know what I mean? So I think most of all is the intensity and the possibility to take damage is a definite change. And ultimately, stylistically, obviously very different. I think Muay Thai being a lot more effective when it comes down to the nitty-gritty,
Well, you say Muay Thai being a lot more harmful on the body. It is considered by a lot of fighters and a lot of people in the world, arguably one of the world's deadliest ring sports in regards to the actual just brutality of Muay Thai, which people don't always understand. As we know, we use the 8 limbs. So you're using your knees, your elbows, you're kicking, you're throwing, and everything in Muay Thai is designed, as you say, to cause physical damage. Even the scoring of the sport is only scored when you cause damage. So does that give you pause into going into a main card fight for EFL?
I think ultimately life always is going to have uncertainty no matter what the situation is. So I think in any moment in time, there's always risk involved in anything that you do. I suppose for each individual person, it's going to come down to where you weigh that pro and con to be. So yes, ultimately going into any situation with a bit of uncertainty, your mind does look and say, okay, well, there is opportunity here for bodily damage. But at the same point in time, great risk equals great reward. So yeah, there's always that notion of, say, this could hurt. But at the end of the day, that's why we train. That's why we condition the body, why we condition the mind, because you want to get in there and know that you've put yourself to the test and you've withstood that test. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's always a bit of awareness, but ultimately you go in with the mindset to know. And I think the harder you go in and the more confident you go in without reservation, the better you'll do and the more less risk or less damage you can take.
Well, that's a fantastic attitude to have towards it. And most top athletes in this art form have that attitude. You are fighting in the 83 to 87 kg range, which is more upper class than the heavier weight divisions, almost to open, which is 91 plus. You are fighting Francois Kundadi. He is an MMA professional. Does it worry you that you're going to be fighting an MMA professional in a Muay Thai fight?
again, I think it comes to that uncertainty principle. There might be something that comes on the day. Look, any dog can have his day at any moment in time. You know, things could be unorthodox for somebody coming from an MMA background in terms of their movement, but ultimately this is also a wheelhouse that he might be unfamiliar with, just because of the regulation, and that might have to streamline his approaches, which might make it a bit more of a mental thing than a physical motional thing. So there could be a pro and con from him coming in both ways. Ultimately, I don't feel any less. I don't feel any more pressure taking it from an MMA side. I'm looking forward to it as a whole, and like I say, it's always it could be unorthodox, which could make it really exciting. So, and in that way, you learn a whole lot more in that process. So to me, it's exciting.
Well, we know, I mean, me personally, I know your career. I've been following you for a lot of time. You come from a good camp. The camp that you're training out of currently is considered the camp in EFL, with Marlon Watson holding the top position in his weight class, Madly fighting on the night for first contender for her weight class. Lebo, your other little giants, as I call him, he was meant to fight on the card, but unfortunately his opponent had to withdraw. So you come from a camp of fighters, and fighters that have proven themselves to be top class. Does that put any extra pressure on you to perform on the evening?
I guess that puts the right amount of pressure on someone to perform in the evening. You know? It gives you enough to know that, look, I mean, ideally it puts both ways once again. You know, you've got the side to say, look, I'm from that camp, you know what I mean? And they are performing. So once again, it gives you that confidence to know what we're doing seems to work. Ultimately, yeah, and on the other end, enough pressure to make you know that, you know, you want to push a bit harder to ensure that you keep the flag flying high.
Well, I mean, to everybody that's coming on the evening, and to everybody that may not have ever seen you fight before, I can personally say I've been dying to see you in the ring and to see you in action. I know how you train. I know you've got the knockout power to follow up the technique. So I am excited beyond words to see your fight coming on the 7th of May. And to fans and family, are you bringing supporters with you? Is it just the lonely old Damian coming out of the corner? Or do you have a support crew behind you?
My family always tells me, you know, they're the last to know about, you know, I'm quite terrible at communication. So, look, I think there's always that extra sense of nervousness when you got the people watching you. You know, you don't want to let them down. But I think definitely for this one, especially after all the missed ones, all the missed opportunities in COVID, having the downsides to it that it did, I think there's definitely a lot of people who've been waiting to see me fight now for a good couple of years. So definitely think they'll be out. I don't know if it'll be out in the numbers, but I'll try and make sure I communicate that during this time, and hopefully have a nice lot of support in the house.
Well, on that point of communication, we are excited to have you with EFL. We know that the fans are going to see a fight like they haven't seen before, which will just create this buzz around your fight that's happening. Win or lose, we know you to be a sportsman and a professional sportsman as that. You are fighting in the professional amateur division. So it's just the one division before professional, sorry. So we are just wonderful to have you. Looking forward to your fight on the 7th of May in Centurion. And as a closing, what can you say to guys that are going to see you on the night?
Bring loads of money for loads of snacks so we can get popcorn, cool drinks going. You know, ideally you want to see the knockout power and you want to see all that, but also at the same point in time, you want to spend some time in the ring. You want to give people a show. So whichever way it goes, hopefully the guys are going to come out, enjoy it, you know, have good fun. The energy by that time of the night is so hype. So I know if you're there and you're sticking around to see my fight, I know it's going to be a jewel. So yeah, man, expect to be entertained.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, come the 7th of May in Centurion, Eclipse Fight League number 4. Main card fight, Damian Collins versus Francois Kundari. Going to be a fight of the night. Make sure you get there. Thank you, Damian, for your time and all the best with your camp.
Approved.
Up to you. Have a wonderful day forward.